new tyres. So we've got the Vittoria Mazza and the Vittoria Martello. Shout out to Ben from GKA Sports. He hooked me up with these tyres, so thank you very much. Whippet's Workshop, thank you very much for making it happen. Front is the Mazza Trail casing, so a little bit lighter. I guess it feels similar to an EXO. The rubber itself feels quite good. It feels very supple and it should feel good. Some tyres don't feel very supple, they feel a bit more plasticky, so these feel killer. They look killer, the quality of the finish looks good, so we'll see how they mount up, make sure they're spinning true and whatnot. But so far it looks good. 2.4. We'll see how that sucker goes up front. And out the back, got a Martello, Vittoria Martello, E-Martello, so the Enduro casing or the e-bike casing. They say it's a battery saving compound. So just a back tyre, perfect back tyre I guess. A fast rolling, if it grips up and it hooks up well, it should be good. It won't be as supple as that. This sidewall is super stiff and very robust. You're not going to cut it. You're not going to cut that sidewall, I wouldn't think. Unless it's a big, never say never. But yeah, tough as hell. The sidewalls seem tough as hell. The top seems pliable. Probably more pliable and a little bit less thick than the side. I don't know. Same, maybe. But I'm interested to see how this feels on the trail because the side knobs are quite close together. I don't know how to decipher what a tyre looks like to what it feels like on the trail. I only know what I feel. So looking too deep into the patterns, I'd be wasting my time and just talk, just talking for the sake of talking. So I won't go into the patterns. It looks good. Feels strong as hell, so that's definitely a back tyre. So thank you so much for sending me something that's robust and going to last the test for sure. Smart on their part. So I'm going to take the tyres that I have off now. So I've got the DHR2 out the back, 1250 grams with a cush core in it. I've got a cush core in there as well. So add another 200, so it's about 1500 gram rear tyre setup. I'm going to chuck the Martello on the back. No cush core to start with, just put it on the rim so I can test it properly, and then if I like it, I'll keep it on there and I'll put the cush core in there later to protect that rim. But to start with, I just want to see how the tyre feels absent of the cush core. Up the front, obviously chuck this sucker on and take the Panzer tyre insert out. So we'll have a look at that, see how it's fared over the last couple of weeks. It's taken a few good hits, taken a few big hits. I feel like with the Panzer, it takes up quite a lot of space in the tyre for sure. And I should probably be running a little bit less pressure. It seems a little bit rough. It seems a little bit pokey. So I'm going to have to run a little bit lower pressure with that Panzer EVO tyre insert. That's going to come out. We're going to run the Mazza as just a tyre no insert and see how that goes. So let's go do that. So got all the air out of this. Dead flat. Panzer insert in. So excellent rim protection, absolutely, there's no doubt there. That creates a lot of protection for your rims. That gives you a good idea. This is an EXO casing, and I can smash that into the bricks with no air in the tyre whatsoever. And she is rock solid. But I don't know if it's a little bit harsh. So we're pulling it out. We're going to see how it's fared over the last couple of weeks. It's only been there 2 weeks, but it's going to be good to see whether it's all chopped up, because the material struck me at first as a bit of like a pool noodle. So let's rip it open and have a look. So we'll get them out the same way we get them in. So cush core, Panzer, whatever. Bust the bead on one side, but not both sides. So it's quite a tight fit, this Panzer.
Keep rolling. Eventually, you get that bead to drop off the shoulder. And there it goes. Into the centre. So it's just perseverance. Quite a sticky, like a friction, creates a fair bit of friction, this insert. As you can hear, going around. Once I've got this sucker in the groove all the way around, which I believe I do.
Then I start at the valve, specialised tyre levers are really, really good. Love them. So I've got to try and peel it back far enough that I can get this scoop in. They're nice and wide and kind of a shallow pull pinch, so if you're running tubes, less chance of you pinching your tube. Take the bead off. So if I broke both beads, it would have been harder for me to get this tyre lever in and actually open the thing up. So, and a note, I should have opened the non-disc side, so there's less chance of me getting any sealant on the disc, which is probably about to happen.
And I'm just going to push the insert out, there we go. Push it out. Sealant everywhere. Still plenty of sealant in the tyre. Still liquid. See how this thing's held up. No, it's not looking bad. Not looking bad at all. No, that whole restriction. Should be easy, mate. Get behind it. Push it out. That's better. Much more simple, sir.
Yeah. So look at it. There's a few impact marks, but nothing's chopped yet. No, nothing chopped. Just feels sticky. There's a little chop there, but that's not a lot. Panzer. Not bad at all, actually. Not bad at all. It's all crooked, but it never created a wobble in the tyre. The tyre stayed true, so yeah, that's cool. Panzer EVO tyre insert. Definitely strong enough to take all your impacts. And I don't think it's absorbed too much sealant. There's plenty of sealant still in the tyre. Got a little bit of a guzzer here. Little tyre monster, might have been from, it's super sticky. Because I used PDs last time. I did clean it, but maybe there was some PDs in the valve or something, and yeah, but doesn't matter. There's still plenty of goo left in the rim. You can see there, probably. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, but there's plenty in there still. And out of the way. And it hasn't cut. It hasn't really showed any signs of degradation, so that's cool. Apart from that cut there, which is no biggie. That's pretty cool. So yeah, Panzer. I think if you run a little bit less pressure than you would usually, it'll feel better. So it doesn't seem like it's much bigger than a Cushcore, but it just feels a little bit less, and this might be, I might be wrong here, but it feels maybe a little bit less sensitive. So yeah, I usually run 22. I think 21 would feel better, 20 maybe even still. Sat tight on the rim, doesn't seem to have stretched too much, so it wasn't overly hard to put in. Yeah, it's killer. So thank you very much, Whippets, for hooking this up for me to test. It'll be going back in for sure. I'm going to test this Mazza. Let's get him on. It's actually mounted up quite well, so super easy with a track pump or floor pump. And the size looks ever so slightly smaller than the 2.5 DHF, but not much in it. Have a look. Looks good. It's got quite a consistent pattern across the top. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Now the Martello E Martello was a little harder to mount. Well, it wasn't hard to mount, it was easy to mount. It was a little harder to pop the bead. I had to use the compressor on that one. So maybe a little bit of a loose fit. It was pretty easy to get on, to be honest. It was a little bit looser than a Maxi's, not by much, very, very, very close. So not to the point where I'd be worried like the old Schwalbes were super loose. I don't know if the new ones are still super loose, but they used to be real loose on the rim. It's not like that. It's killer. Good fit. Easy for putting it on, taking it off. Just pumping it up with the compressor. You gotta, yeah. Or you can put an extra layer of tape on your rims. But anyway, looks good. Seems good. Strong. Doesn't Doesn't seem to rebound too fast, so we'll see on the trail. But so far so good. Both spinning quite true. I got a little bit of a ding in my back wheel. Just needs a tickle up. Front, same story, just runs like a dream. Pretty straight, little tiny wobble in there. Might be the tyre, might be the rim. But have a look at these wheels. They just keep going and going. This is why I love the Bontrager wheels so much. Front one, I didn't give it a big nudge. Still spinning, no worries. Back one, that'll spin till the sun goes down. It's so impressive how good these wheels are, or how good these rims are. Not the rims, the hubs, sorry. The rims aren't great. The Bontrager rims definitely aren't great. Got the Panzer and the Cushcore both right there. Now this Panzer, you know what? I like it. It's definitely going to go back in. I think I just got to run a little bit less PSI than I would without a insert, so that'll go back in eventually. Thank you to KWT Imports. Thanks to Whippet's Workshop for getting hold of this for me and letting me test it. It's, at first I thought maybe it was a little bit harsh and it was just going to tear apart, and I've had a few big hits on the front since having it in there, and there's only that one tear that I showed you earlier, so yeah, more robust than I expected and definitely good impact protection. So yeah, if you're looking for something, this is light. This is 100 grams or 95 give or take versus the 220 or 250 grams of the Cushcore. So the Cushcore is quite heavy, but that's my go-to in the back. It's just, it seems like it'll last forever. I had one for over a year and a half, and it was barely deteriorated. This one's copped a couple of biggies. That's when I destroyed my rim. So that's the hit that destroyed my rim, the Bontrager rim. That's been really good as well. So, but that'll go in the front, being a light jobby, and that'll go in the back, being it's heavy. But for the test of these tyres, Mazda and Martello, no inserts. We're just going to go tyres on them on their own.